Hello chess fans, this is Rick from Chess to Progress with number 52 in the series Viewers Games. This one is from Daniel from Pakistan. And he said, below is a PGN of a game I played on the chess.com server. I was white, time control was 1 day for each move, so it was a correspondence game. I'm an intermediate player with a chess.com rating of around 1500. I lack positional chess skills and focus more on tactics. Well, let's have a look at Daniel's game. He also gave some comments to some of the moves and I will read them out to you. Daniel played d4, he was white. Knight f6 from his opponent, c4, g6, knight f3, bishop g7, g3, black castled, and bishop g2. We are in the fianchetto variation of the King's Indian defense. d6, knight c3, knight bd7, Daniel castled, and now the main move here is e5, and then white's main reply according to the theory is e4. But black made a mistake here. He played b6, and that opens the diagonal for the bishop and we get some tactical possibilities here. Daniel didn't see it here. He played e4, but he could have struck with knight e5. Very strong move. It's attacking the rook in the corner. And if you play rook b8, there is knight c6. And we have a knight fork. Very nice. Queen e8, knight takes b8, and white has won an exchange. So after 7 moves we already had this tactical possibility, knight e5. But as said, Daniel played e4. Bishop b7, no more tactics on the diagonal. Rook e1, c5, d5, a6, bishop e3, knight back to e8, and queen d2. And here a move like queen c7 is perfectly normal, and we have an even position, all the pieces on the board, a complicated position, everything to play for. But here black made a very strange move. Of course, white has just played queen d2 and has a lot of power on this diagonal, but black decides to put a pawn there, play h6, and of course that pawn is not protected well enough. Daniel saw that and took it. Is now a pawn up, e6 from black, bishop takes, king takes, and here the engine gives as the strongest possibility d takes e6, and after f takes, play knight g5 with a big advantage. The knight there is very strong, it cannot be kicked away by any pawn moves. Instead, Daniel played a fine move. He played rook ad1, which is fine as well. e5, closing the center, and knight e2. Daniel writes here that he is preparing f4, so play this knight away and then f2, f4 to open up the game. b5 from black, attacking the c4 pawn. Daniel plays b3, and b4 was played. There comes knight h4 with the plan to play f4, open up the game. Here rook h8 is a move. Black needs to get some counterplay, and he might try to get some counterplay over the half-open h-file. Then his loss of a pawn may have led to something anyway. But instead he played, instead of rook h8, he played f6. There comes f4 as planned, planning to open up the game, and black actually helps white here. He plays g5, not a good move. It's helping white to open up the position which he was planning to do anyway. It also leaves a hole on f5, and Daniel straight away jumps into that hole, knight f5 check, king f7, and now opening up lines against the king. F takes g5, f takes g5, and rook f1, strong move. Daniel writes here he has discovered check ideas and placing the rook on a more active file to enhance his attack. And that is indeed exactly what he's doing here. The rook was not as strong on the e file, it's much better on the f file. And there are indeed some jumps with the knight, which would give a discovered attack on the king. Rook f1, good move. Knight df6 from black, closing that file. Bishop h3. Daniel writes, my bishop was not doing much on g2. Owing to black's exposed king, I brought my bishop into attack on h3 to the c8 diagonal, and also to prevent black's escape from the light squares after the knight on f5 moves. Yeah, so this bishop controls the diagonal, and if the king wants to flee, it will not be able to go over those squares if this knight is gone. That's what Daniel says. Again, rook h8 would be a move here, but black blunders and plays rook g8, and he missed a knight fork. There comes the knight fork, knight h6, picking up more material. Daniel writes here, my opponent made it easy to mate him. He should have gone to e7 with the king, so king e7 here, and then knight takes g8 check. I would have taken the rook with check, but after that I did not see a forced mating attack. And instead of king e7, my opponent trapped himself in a kind of mating net, and that is indeed what black did here. Of course, you don't want to go to e7 and lose a full rook, so black played understandably king g7, but indeed there's now a forced mate on the board already. There's too many attacking white pieces. Queen takes g5 check, king h7, bishop f5 check, king h8, and a very nice checkmate move, knight f7, and the game was over after 27 moves. Daniel writes, I won the game because my opponent did not pay attention to the threats and did not develop effectively, which I want you to highlight for the beginners. Just to recap the key moments from this game, the first one was after black played b7, b6, and white had this tactical possibility with knight e5, with the bishop attacking the rook in the corner, as we saw. The second moment was, of course, when black played the very unfortunate move h6, which just gave up a pawn. This pawn is just attacked twice and only defended once, and there was no need to blunder that pawn away. And also a bad move was g5. White was trying to open up the position for his pieces. The king is somewhat unhappy on g7, doesn't have a lot of protection, and g5 really is opening the door and asking white, come and get me. And that's exactly what Daniel did. Thank you, Daniel. Well played. Thank you for sending me this game. Sorry you had to wait so long. I hope it was worth the wait to see your game now on the Chess to Progress channel. Hope you enjoyed Daniel's game. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the Chess to Progress channel and please leave a comment. You also may want to check out my Chess to Impress channel. The link is in the description box. This is Rick for Chess to Progress. Thank you for watching.